Governments deny it. Militaries deny it. Even the mainstream media denies it. But they are here, and they've been here for a very long time. The Mutual UFO Network has been on the front lines uncovering the truth since 1969. And now we're sharing that truth with you. Welcome to MUFON What's Up with your hosts, Katie Page, Christopher DePerno, and Tara Diulis. Exclusively on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. Wondering what's up? So are we.
What's up, everybody? It is another Tuesday night, and you are listening to MUFON What's Up Radio, the show that says discovery starts with curiosity, and curiosity starts with MUFON. Brought to you by KGRADB.com. Please go to their website and check out all their great content. They have so much, it's really awesome. I think you'll really enjoy it. As always, we're endorsed by MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, always asking that all-important question, are we alone in the universe? I am your host, Katie Page, the Colorado MUFON State Director and Mars Administrator. Tonight we have good friends, Marianne, Robb, and Dave Rich, and I am so excited to talk with them. They are going to be out there at the boot camp this year, or not, well, they do teach at the boot camp out in Phoenix, but they're also going to be at the MUFON Symposium, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I wanted to share with you guys some of these great events that are coming up. It's that time of year again. So the 35th Annual Ozark Mountain UFO Conference is going to be held this coming weekend. Actually fly out of here on Thursday. I'm really excited, and I hope to see you guys all out there April 14th through the 16th. You can find more information about that at ozarkufoconference.com. And then also right here in my own backyard, we have the Pikes Peak Conference, and that's held over May 19th through the 21st. And you can learn more information about that at pikespeakparanormal.com. Again, hope to see you out there. It's a really cool town. It's a gambling town. So, up there in Cripple Creek. So you can do the gamble, or you can see the conference and do a little gambling while you're at it. So that's kind of a fun deal. And then, of course, Contact in the Desert is back, and that's held June 2nd through the 4th. You can find more information there at contactinthedesert.com. And last but not least is that MUFON Symposium, August 24th through the 27th. And you can find more about that at mufonsymposium.com. The FI training is going to be that Thursday on the 24th. And our guest tonight, Marianne, Robb, and our host, Chris DePerno, they're going to be teaching 2 classes there. They're going to be doing advanced interview techniques as well as forensics fieldwork. And what better instructors to learn it from than 2 officers of the law. So it's going to be an amazing time out there at the symposium. I hope to see you all out there. Why don't we go ahead and bring in our awesome co-host? We have Tara Diulis. You can see Tara on Sky Tour Live right there right here on KGRA. Hi, Tara. How you doing?
Hi, what's up, Katie? Good to see everyone.
It's good to see you too. It is a beautiful day up here in the mountains. It's like the first really pretty day that we've had in a while. Like beautiful blue skies. Put on the shorts and everything. Got some sun out there, and even broke out those patio cushions. So I was happy about that.
Outside, enjoying the weather, right?
Yeah. First time this year I've been able to do that, so I'm loving that.
Awesome. Cool. Cool.
But let's go ahead and bring on the New York State Director and ERT member, Chris DePerno, Jerry and Jenna. How you doing, Chris, Jerry, and Jenna?
I'm trying to figure out, like this flying saucer, how I would get my fat ass into this thing.
Apparently, space is different in flying saucers. So
what?
You'll fit. Space is different in flying saucers, I'm told. So maybe you'll fit.
Space is space. Listen, if you got a fat ass, you only got so much room here, and you got a fat ass here. It's like putting a 5-pound ham in a 2-pound can. It don't work. Oh my God! All right, we got a great show for you tonight. We have 2 unbelievable police officers who are going to tell us all about their experiences and things that they've investigated. And it should be a great show.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
What do you have to kick us off, Tara?
Well, I would like to start off with our meme. This vintage meme comes to us from the land of Larson. So this one might take a minute for you to get. So let me explain. There's a simple freeway scene and cars going over a mountain pass and antennas waving in the wind. And on the side of the road is a stranded vehicle with its antenna waving in the wind. Only the vehicle is a UFO and on the antenna is a ticket.
They're going to get their county money any way they can. Doesn't matter who you are, what planet you're from. They're going to give you a ticket.
Oh, that's funny. I love it. I love it. Well, you were talking about what a nice day it was. Today's the first day it hit 100 on our car driving on the road.
Whoa.
So it's warm here today and I love the heat. So it makes me think of now's the time to get out my sun catchers and clean them off and hang them up. So today, I'd like to share with you some of these fun sun catchers that you can find on Etsy. And some of them are alien heads. You have flying saucers.
That'd be good up here in Colorado with the mountain
Isn't it
scene.
pretty? Yeah,
I
it's
like
kind of
that
a snowy
one.
mountain scene in the back. It's really cool. And when the sun really is bright and comes through, these are so beautiful. And you
that
have
one's nice too.
Isn't that pretty? Yep. And that's a fun one. I like that blue glass. And then you have the alien, of course, taking a nap on the moon.
That's pretty chill.
Alien dreams, maybe. You can also here's the alien coming through a portal in your wall or your window, maybe. And whatever you do, just don't forget the one for the kitty, okay?
Look at that one.
But all of these wonderful sun catchers and other items can be found on Etsy where you can find anything, basically.
But hey, put that one back up on the alien coming through the wall. Wouldn't you like to see that at 3:00 in the morning? Wake up. Holy crap! They're really out of Ethel!
Your security light comes on and it glows. Yes.
Oh my
funny.
God.
Well,
Nightmares.
Nightmares. One. I know. Well, this isn't too scary. This is a yummy vanilla chocolate alien bar, with this little UFO over his shoulder, which of course can always be found on Paranormal Pops with lots of other fun things. They do. They have lots of fun things. Yummy. They mix them up every now and then.
Yes, indeed. That's the best stuff to put you in a diabetic coma. Really.
For our next, not to reverse your diabetic coma. Do you ever feel you need some fuel?
Yeah.
I do. So
I do all the time.
Make sure you fill up for life, everyone. Really, they have wake for motivation, play for concentration, which is my favorite actually, and we have rest for rejuvenation. So you can go to their website. It is fuelup.gg/MUFON for any special offers, and fuel up for life, everyone. And
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah,
it's important to stay hydrated. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm drinking right now. Yeah, I like that play. I need all the help with concentration that I can get. I'm telling you.
I wish they had one for hair loss.
Whoa! I bet it's in the works. You just keep posted. Keep looking at the website. You never know. These people are amazing.
Hydrate your roots. It's like watering a plant. I'm sure it helps.
Yes.
Do they have in the works for other ailments?
I'm sure. I don't know.
All right, let's keep.
What ails you?
Hey, let's not get into that. We don't have time.
Yeah, that's right.
But Chris, what do you have for us on the news today?
All right. Well, wait a minute. I got to hear my Valkyrie before I do the news. The news. What's the news? Hey, this is an important story. It really is, because I got to tell you something. I've always been a big fan of the Skinwalker Ranch, and I got to tell you, I think, and this is just my humble opinion, I honestly think thousands of years ago something crashed there, because they're having all kinds of weird things. Anyways, let's get on with the news. Skinwalker Ranch secrets could change science and technology for humanity. The phenomenon happening at Skinwalker Ranch is using non-human technologies to create dangerous spikes in gamma rays, claimed scientist Travis Taylor. Remember that name, folks, Travis Taylor. He explained that we are measuring all our spikes in the gamma rays. We took a calibrated instrument out there that would measure the spectrum of the gamma rays, and they were at 511 kilo electrons volts. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. Dr. Taylor explained that this is the frequency of gamma rays or X-rays that happens when you have an antimatter and matter collide. When you have an electron and a positron, they blow up and they create gamma rays. That does not happen anywhere except atom smasher big particle colliders. The fact that it happens at such high levels and in very localized spots, that's not a technology that we have. So it's not something naturally occurring, and it's not from any technology I ever heard of.
Wow.
And it's something unique either to that location or to whatever the phenomenon is. Several times we have had to evacuate the area because the radiation level got too high. Now, I will tell you, just stop for a second. They're not too far away from Area 51 or the atomic test sites that they've had there. So one of the theories was that the atomic test sites flew radiation over. Travis Taylor debunks that absolutely because they could tell the atomic radiation that was used. Anyways, here's the phenomenon occurring in an unexplainable and beyond physics that I understand, and so it could be a whole new regime of science and technology for humanity. If we uncover what this really is, he added, we have no idea what it is, but I could tell you this. We've got UFOs. I mean, look at it like it's actual nuts and bolts things on camera, and now we have them in high-speed infrared. We have them with radar detection. We got all sorts of phenomenon, and we've seen now that just cannot be explained away. And people are going to say, it's TV. But I'm telling you, this is not a TV show. This is a scientific investigation that we're documenting for TV. Cool. Travis revealed that last summer, after an experiment, he went to bed and heard a booming voice. And if he's still crazy enough to stay on after that, God bless him. In his trailer, he said, there was a voice, it's one of them things where you don't know if you're awake or you're asleep, but there's a booming voice in my trailer, and it said, you better go check your GoPro footage, and don't forget to get milk in the morning. He said later, the GoPro footage from a helicopter. Travis thinks the phenomenon may appear so weird because it is using quantum physics, and our brains can't interpret it properly. When the Bigelow guy said that he saw 3 guys with dog heads, smoking cigarettes. Now, I got to tell you, I want to see that one. 3 dog heads cigarettes, wearing trench coats and a top hat on the ranch at one time. That sounds crazy, right? So that's the dumbest thing. They're chasing ghosts, werewolves, whatever, or they're doing drugs. I got to say they're doing drugs. Tara!
Yeah.
You for Amanda, roll that video.
We know that this ranch, 500 some odd acres, has a lot of strange things going on, has a history of that. Right. Back to
thousands of years.
Yeah, I mean, back pre-America, this area has had problems. And it looked like when we left you guys on the last season that you had a theory that something was in the air hovering over this ranch.
Yeah, we've made various measurements with microwave detection, radio wave triangulation. We've found things on with the helicopter being pushed out of the way or detected. It's collision avoidance radar saying something's underneath us.
Can I tell you, that was one of the really weirdest things to me when that helicopter kept saying you were a few feet off the ground when you were obviously up at about 10,000 feet.
Yeah,
I remember.
We were 10,000 feet above sea level, 5,000 feet above ground level, and it was saying there was something under us 38 feet at one time. And we had the instrument checked out; it was perfectly fine, and so we found something in the video actually flying under us afterwards when we went back and looked at.
Oh yeah.
And so we also, the GPS in that area is odd and jammed. And so we found things. We made a point to find out what was going on there last summer. And what we're seeing, what we're measuring are spikes in the gamma rays. And I'll tell you this, that we took a calibrated, NIST traceable instrument out there that would measure the spectrum of the gamma rays. Mm-hmm. And they were at 511 kilo electron volts. Let me explain what that means. That's the frequency of gamma rays or X-rays that happens when you have antimatter and matter collide. When you have an electron and a positron collide, they blow up and they create these gamma rays. That doesn't happen anywhere except atom smashers, big particle colliders, and in science fiction. That's what run the warp core.
Right.
Not to go to Star Trek on you there,
Yeah.
Rick, but
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well, so many times, our science fiction ends up being true later on because, people had a vision or thought something might work,
Sure.
and it ends up working. So what do you attribute that to?
Well, I don't know, and the fact
That's the question.
The fact that it happens at such high levels and in very localized spots. That's not a technology that we have, and so it's not something naturally occurring, and it's not from any technology I've ever heard of. So it's something unique, either to that location or to whatever that phenomena.
Can it be harmful to you?
Oh, yes. In fact, we've had several times where we've had to evacuate an area because the radiation level got too high.
Driving you crazy.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Because to me, it's a moral imperative that we figure out what's going on there. When I first went out there, I thought it was going to be like Scooby-Doo. We were going to look behind the curtain. There's going to be Old Man Withers.
Yeah.
Right? And he'd pull his mask off.
And he could have done it had been for those pesky kids.
That's right.
Right.
And so we haven't found Old Man Withers. And what we've found is there's phenomena occurring that are really unexplainable and beyond physics that I understand.
Wow.
Well, Katie, you have experiences with ranches.
Yeah,
You
it's
think
no
Travis
joke.
is right?
Well, it's I have a non-disclosure, and I have a lot to say about all of that, and I can't because I don't want to get in trouble. But I can tell you this: it's no joke. I'm really anxious to be able to talk about it. When I'm able to talk about it again, it really hits close to home, and I just can't say right now, but I will be able to share at some point. But it's all true. It's very serious, and it needs to be researched and explained. And right, you don't want to mess around with high radiation and gamma and all that stuff. It could be
Nope.
quite dangerous. So
Nope.
yeah,
You tend not to live very long after that. Tara,
Right.
what do you think?
Right.
I agree. I think it's exciting, though, that there's some science getting involved and that they're documenting things, regardless of what, even though we don't know what it is. I'm just so hopeful. I really want to know, and I have no clue. So there you go.
Yep. Sometimes things are better off left alone.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
they're
never
poking the
know.
bear. Poke
You
the bear.
might-
Poke the bear.
Get
Might
You
get it.
know, in one part of that video, he says he came away with radiation burns, bad radiation burns. So you got to be careful when you poke the bear. He said, all right, let's get to our second story. Oh, I love this one. This is the biggest hoax I could ever find. I thought, whoever these guys are, I want to know how they do their movies because they're fantastic. Viral video of alien invasion prompts police response in Nigeria. Now, I have no clue how the police respond in Nigeria, but if somebody said the aliens are here and they're invading us, I think that's time to call in sick. Anyways, authorities in Nigeria are assuring the public that they have nothing to fear after a video of an alleged alien invasion wound up going viral on social media in the country. The rather well-crafted hoax reportedly popped up online a few days ago and claimed to show a man encountering an enormous skeletal creature walking along the side of the road. Hey, you got a cigarette? The purported witness in the video declares that demons are overtaking what? State of Katasha. The state of Katasha is under attack. And upon being seen by one of these monstrous interlopers, he quickly flees the scene. Shortly after appearing online, the video quickly went viral on social media in Nigeria, with many residents believing that the fantastic scene was genuine. In response to increasing concerns among people living in the area, the Katashina State Police Command were actually forced, I don't know where this place is, were actually forced to issue a statement in an attempt to swiftly put down the panic, indicating that they were aware of the footage, making the rounds of social media depicting the invasion of the Katashina by some unknown creature aliens. The department categorically stated the content of the viral video is extremely entirely a fake, decrying the video as an attempt to disrupt the. Hey, listen, wait till you see this thing. This is not exactly somebody you want as a neighbor, mowing his lawn. As an attempt to disrupt relative peace, enjoy the good people of the state by some mischievous element. The Katashina police urged the public not to panic and disregard the fake video and its malicious content. My substitute, Amanda, play the video.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Yanzu nan muka ga saukar wani jinsin aliens da ya taho daga duniyar Mars ya fado a nan cikin jihar Katsina. Daga ƙetaren Ringros hanyar da za ta kai ka dutsen safe. La haula wala quwwata. Gashi nan ne ba shi ka gani bar kallon shi. Bar kallon shi da Allah ku zo mu shiga gidan man nan. Ku zo mu shige wannan gidan. Ka gani ko ya gamu ya gamu da Allah ku zo mu shiga gidan man nan haba da Allah. Ya kai inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Allah ka taimaki an jihar Katsina. Wa'annan aljannu shigowa kawai suke yanzu wannan na uku kenan maka gani. La haula wala quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Yanzu nan maka ganshi daga nan ƙetaren rigiron. Ku dibe shi ku gani. La haula wala quwwata ko me yake kallo? Da Allah ku zo mu kai kama mu. Da Allah ku bari. La haula wala inna lillahi cikin gari ya shiga cikin gari. Ya shiga cikin gari.
Now, just to let you know, I did a little investigating on this, and I interpreted what the guy said. And it says, holy crap, that gungie you made us smoke is way too much out there. Never do that again. So anyways, it's way too much of a hoax. But it is, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful hoax. Katie?
Well, I was just going to say, I wish I knew what they were saying, but I think we just need to throw a big T-bone steak and off he goes. He kind of looked a little playful and innocent, if you ask me. He looks like he was doing
when one of
some
them really comes down,
exercises.
I'll make sure I give him your address so you can say hi to him.
Okay.
Tara?
Well, when I first saw it, you go,
I don't believe
you know,
it. She says that thing, says, oh, look, it's playful. It's 12 feet high. It's going, like this.
Well, what was so funny, the sound of his feet hitting the ground, thump,
Yeah, it was
thump, and he
sort
was
of
so
funny.
skinny, that weight kind of didn't seem
Well, maybe
like
he's
that.
on a keto diet.
He could be. It's all mass. It's all muscle. It's all lean. So
Oh, God. Oh, heaven help me. Anyways, I'll be sure when they do have it, I will make sure they come and see you.
awesome.
Oh, okay. That's great. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. We're going to do like a aerobics program together.
Hey, I wonder if it's like an alien dog.
Alien run.
Do you think it might be an alien dog? Like I could buy that for
Could
my
be.
wife and say, "Here, honey, I bought you a Christmas present."
Yeah.
Throw him a big milk
Don't
bone.
worry, it's going to eat you.
Fine. So funny. Thanks for the news, Chris. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get on to case of the week, shall we?
Awesome. Yeah.
So, case of the week, I have a really short little thing to read here. Basically, let's see, it's case number 130032. It's category 1 case, which is on the lower end. We have cat 1s, cat 2, cat 3s. Cat 3s are your more close encounters. Cat 2 has good evidence or a little closer in, multiple witnesses. Cat 1, more lights in the sky. This is out of Tacoma, Washington. It occurred March 27th, 2023, 1:38 p.m. in the afternoon. And here's the important part you need to know before we watch the video is that it moved slowly toward McCord Air Force Base against the wind. It was closed as an unknown UAV. So I have a short video and then I took some still shots and then we can discuss what we all think this is. All right. Kind of hard to see there, I know.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
saw an airplane over there. But wait,
Oh,
take the
wow.
pictures down here. You saw the airplane. No, wait, take it. You saw the airplane over there. This was it looked relatively small to me, but it was this little thing tumbling. Okay, and according to the research, it was going against the wind. So if we can bring up photograph number 1, these were stills that the witness took. And when I first saw this, what's the first thing you think of? Maybe is it an inner tube? Maybe it could have a little balloon kind of thing there. So if you want to put up the second picture there, inner tube, Marlar balloon kind of thing. But then photograph number 2, I saw, it's funny how these things change shape so quickly. It looks like kind of a face on the top there. So the next photo, there we go. Could that, be like a face on a balloon? And then the next one, that to me looked like a fish. So it's changing shape again. Doesn't that look like a fish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next one there, this was interesting. It morphed into this shape. And interestingly enough, there was a UFO that MUFON investigated over Manchester in 2011 that had a similar type of shape to it, which kind of is a good discussion. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I can't fathom that an alien would just pop open the sky roof and go, "Hey, everybody, I'm here." So I don't think it's an alien, there. So but you just don't know. The morphing into another vehicle is the strange part about it. I mean, all during your presentation, I was thinking, yeah, somebody blew up a balloon with helium, a tube or something, made it float and put it like a picture of an alien on it. But then right at the end, when you say, hey, it morphed into this shape, balloons don't morph into different shapes.
Right.
I mean, they could change. You're looking at them. He's taking picture after picture. So, it starts out with a really O shape, and then maybe it's deflating, and it's deflating that fast where it could change that shape quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know, or just because it's tumbling in the wind. So it depends on,
It's your perspective.
where it is when they're, So it's an interesting case. And I just want to say that the investigator in this case did their due diligence and looked at the wind and the weather and all these other factors, and that's why it was closed the way it was. But things to think about, when you're out there observing things in the sky, our perspectives change and things tumble. So I thought it was interesting for that reason. I'm like, that's so strange how just that quickly it can look so different. So
I
that's
enjoyed
why I
your
chose
little
that
pictures.
case.
Yeah. Your pictures help really, describe and see what we're all kind of seeing and how it really could be just a matter of perspective. But like Chris said, we don't know.
Geez, I wish somebody gets himself a real great camera and take a real great shot.
No.
Right. And did we catch up with Bob this week?
We did. Bob
good.
Spearing has another
it.
great case for us.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob Spearing. I am MUFON's Director of International Investigations, and each week, Chris and the crew allow me to show you, the audience, something of interest. We got a case from February 9th of this year from Yorkshire, England. No immediate location, but it would be easy to find if we chose to because of the amazing picture I'm going to show you right now of a cathedral. And we can put that up. And what's above the cathedral, not the little periscope thing to magnify, but look to the right of it. It seems very, very far away because we've lost some quality here. But I want to explain what's going on here. Somebody was walking about 11 o'clock in the morning, saw what appeared to be 3 objects in the sky. They appeared almost as if they were flying humanoids, too, followed by some sort of silvery metallic object. So we zoomed in and we can show that picture now. And it really is interesting. The silver object below the 2 black objects doesn't seem to be anything with a particular understandable shape. But look at what's above it. It clearly looks like 2 feet on each of the objects and 2 hands with some sort of possible helmet. We get a lot of these type of reports from India, and a lot of them turn out to be hoaxes, but I can't explain what we're looking at now. It really looks like flying humanoids in conjunction with some sort of object. Could be balloons, could be some sort of hoax, but this is a very, very interesting picture because there's apparently humans or balloons that look like humans flying across the sky. So we've been getting a lot of odd reports out of England the past several months. It seems to be a hotbed of odd activity, a lot of abductions, a lot of people with missing time. So we're going to be taking a closer look at England in the months to come to see if something's going on there. That's it for today. I'm Bob Spearing. Again, I'd like to thank the crew for having me on, and hopefully I'll have something good for you again next week. Signing off.
Thank you, Bob. That's awesome. Talk about, I didn't even know what his case was going to be. And here we are, we kind of lined up, with our balloons. But I mean, again.
Yeah, but is it a balloon?
Kind of
is it a balloon?
Because I don't know. The one on the bottom.
If you look at the two figures, they're even. They're uniformed. It's not like the wind is carrying one this way, wind's carrying the other way.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's the object below the two that I found interesting just because it looks so different, almost look metallic in nature compared to the dark figure. So that in of itself is kind of interesting, I don't know. It's a good case.
Yeah.
One for the books.
Yeah, you could really see the figures, though, when he explained what we were looking at. It's like, oh, I see it. Yeah, and I want to fly.
I just want to respond to one of our... Oh, go ahead, Kate.
I was gonna say they have those space suits, right? They're like bat suits or the wing suits. I mean, maybe but it looked relatively small. It's hard to determine how big these things were. Also, we don't have any references for size. I
just wanted to respond to one of the people in chat where she says it looked like a poop balloon. Yeah, Kathleen, what is a poop balloon? I have no clue. I mean. The first thing that comes to my warped mind, what I'm thinking, but hey.
I don't know if I want to know.
Well, that's what she said. It says it looks like a poop balloon. All right, let's get our guests on.
All right, let's get our guests. So, read a quick bio here. Have Marianne Robb is a decorated police officer with 14 years of, or 34, not 14. Oh my goodness, 34. She's going to kill me. 34 years of experience in law enforcement. And just on the side note, I was watching a show on Netflix and there was Marianne Robb. I'm like, I know her. I'll have to ask her about that. Cool. As an officer, she has worked on a variety of special assignments along with beginning her career and ending her career on patrol. In 2015, Marianne joined MUFON and served as a field investigator for several years. She is an instructor with MUFON teaching advanced interview techniques and evidence collection. Like I said, she'll be there at the symposium teaching this year. So I hope to see you guys out there. It's awesome. She does a great presentation. It's a lot of fun. Marianne can be heard every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on a podcast called iDetective right here on KGRADB or Rumble. It's a show made by cops, for cops, about cops, along with that guy down there, right there, Christopher No. And Dave Rich is the 25-year veteran police officer. He started in patrol, then worked in the investigation unit as a homicide detective and a narcotics detective. Dave currently works in the School Resource Officers Unit. Dave joined MUFON and worked as a field investigator. He is also an instructor for MUFON in advanced interview techniques and evidence collection. Marianne and Dave Rich present the nuances of investigating UAPs as law enforcement professionals, including the hurdles that have kept UAP investigations from occurring. They also cover fascinating cases where, in many cases, police have encountered the unexplained in the sky, on land, and in some cases underwater across multiple countries and counties. The presentation is titled UAP PD Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon PD. Marianne believes the government and other agencies are investigating the UAP phenomena and one day hopes to have more law enforcement officers come forward and share their stories without worry of ridicule. That is so important. And I hope that, it's slowly changing. So let's please welcome to the show, Marianne Robb and Dave Rich. Hi, guys.
Hi, you guys.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here.
We are happy to be here.
So let's kind of just start with, here you guys are, very experienced law enforcement officers, and you joined MUFON to investigate UFOs. Why? Did you experience something? What kind of led you each down that path individually?
You want to start? You want me to start?
Well, I started because she dragged me in kicking and screaming. Like, I have never seen a UFO. I've never even seen anything that I thought was like unexplained. But it was very interesting for me. I talked to Stacy Wright out here in Arizona, and Marianne basically told me about it. And I kind of went in because I was kind of curious, like a lot of people I think are, in what could be the possible cause of it. Are there any answers that we can find out? And just as a police officer or an investigator in general, you know, we're always asking those questions and want to know. So that's how I got involved.
Well, I got involved back in 2014. My late husband went to the UFO International UFO Congress here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and met a whole bunch of people. Met the director and assistant state director of Arizona. Started going to meetings. He asked me if I'd go to a meeting, and I said sure. Wasn't sure what to expect. Me being a police officer and dealing with UFOs, I wasn't sure what was going on, but had a great time. I met a lot of wonderful people. We were able to meet and have stay at our house was Richard Dolan, Peter Robbins, and the late, great Stanton Friedman. And from that moment on, I just kind of hit the door running. And I have been with MUFON, field investigator. And what's interesting, if it wasn't for my late husband, I would never be in the UFO community. Never seen anything. And I never thought I'd be here. And I really am glad I am here. This is pretty cool.
So did your husband have an experience then, your late husband?
He did. Well, he did. He saw a fireball while they were fishing many years ago. This thing just lit up the entire sky. It looked like it was like midnight, and it looked like it was 8 o'clock in the morning. And he wasn't sure what he saw. So that was his first experience. Plus, he read Eric Van Donigen's book when he was like 12, 13 years old. And he has always been excited about the anything UFO and wanted to get as much knowledge as he could. So it was cool that we had a conference right here in Arizona that he can actually attend.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So Marianne, I have some questions for you. I'm wondering how you guys got involved, and I'm just wondering if this has anything to do with it. You know, your experience on the road as police officers. This is what I was thinking. So here I have another meme for you. You have the cop who's pulled over the UFO, and he's asking, "Do you have your license?" No. Insurance? Nope. Title? No. Registration? Huh? So the alien says, "I guess you can say I'm an undocumented alien." And then
well, he gets to go to jail, and his spaceship gets towed.
That's how it goes in Arizona, right? That's right.
That's funny, Tara.
I have a question for Dave.
Yeah. So,
Dave, do you believe in UFOs?
I believe that right now, statistically speaking, the odds of life not being on another planet seems
but
small.
I mean, you haven't seen one.
Nope.
But you've investigated this stuff. You're a good investigator. You know what to look for. After so many times, what's your conclusion? I mean, do you have a conclusion? Do you say, you know what, there's something to this? I kind of believe it now? Because I was a skeptic. I didn't believe in this crap at all.
My conclusion specifically on UFOs is I would like to think that they're out there. I have not seen enough proof personally in my investigations to say that I have ever actually seen one. But do I believe that some have been seen? Yes, I absolutely. I just don't, like in my personal investigations that I've done for MUFON, I've been able to successfully identify everything as either a hoax, astronomical body like a star, planet, stuff like that, crop dusters, airplanes, Chinese lanterns, Arcturus. So for me personally, none of my investigations led me to believe that there are UFOs visiting in those cases. Now,
so you haven't had an investigation that you could honestly say is unknown?
Nope. Not for
Marianne?
UFO.
Same question.
Well, Yes, I believe that. Yeah, we're not the only ones in this universe.
But does the evidence show that you've investigated?
Not really. I had, out of 97 cases that I've done, I've had one that is unexplained. And it was some type of craft up in the sky. And the way the gentleman talked about, we teach interviewing techniques. And everything I saw from this gentleman, there was no deception whatsoever. We checked, it was down by Tucson. We checked the Air Force Base that's down there, the international airport that's down there, private airports down there. And there was nothing that we could conclude that it was an airplane or it was a blimp or it was anything like that. So that would be my only one that he might have seen an actual UAP. But of the other cases that I've had, just like Dave says, hoax, mostly Sirius, the star, they're looking at it for so long that it starts to move. Well, yeah, your eyes play tricks on you. But like I said, out of 97 cases, that one is the only one that was kind of, I shook my head. I could not explain what it was.
Yeah, Arizona gets a lot of cases, and a lot of cases can't be explained, just like the Phoenix lights and everything.
And that's one thing that I'd like to point out is just because something is unexplained also doesn't necessarily mean that it's from another planet or another dimension. It could just be something that we just can't explain. Could be military technology, could be mundane technology that we just, from that angle or from that appearance, may not be something. But I'd like to hopefully see something down the road that is from another planet. I think that'd be great. But I just can't say that I've seen that yet.
Great. Chris brings up a good point. I mean, Phoenix is one of our most active states as a whole. Arizona is very active. Phoenix is notoriously pretty stringent on their cases. I think you guys close very few as unknowns. As I know, I'm great friends with Stacy Wright, the state director there. I'm always kind of, but you guys have such fabulous training. What do you guys think of the Phoenix lights?
I believe it. I mean, you can't have thousands of people calling in 911 and calling in to the radio stations, news stations, Luke Air Force Base, and basically explaining the exact same object that they're seeing. But these thousands of people have no idea who that other person is. They don't know each other. So if you have that many people, you have to think, yeah, they did see something. I wish I was awake. I was working day shift in 1997, so I was already in bed by like 7 o'clock at night, and I would love to have been able to see the Phoenix lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom witnessed, though. She was living in Mesa at the time, and she witnessed the Phoenix lights. So she didn't call in, but she was one of those witnesses. What about you, Dave Rich? Were you in Arizona at the time of the Phoenix lights?
I was, but I wasn't working as a police officer yet. This was before I started as an officer in '98, so I wasn't on the job yet. My personal take on it is something flew over. I have never had the opportunity to truly do an investigation into it, but it's something that's been investigated by so many people. There are so many different facts and witnesses and eyewitnesses and, evidence leading that there had to have been something that flew over the valley on that night. What that something is, I couldn't tell you. Is it from another planet? Is it from a military base? I mean, Phoenix, we get a lot of sightings, but we also have a lot of military bases around here, whether it's from New Mexico or Luke Air Force Base right here in Phoenix. We've got stuff Davis-Monthan down south by Tucson. We've got a lot of stuff, a lot of things that it could be. At the end of the day, like I said, my thought is something flew over. Obviously something did. What that is, though, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, don't feel bad, Marianne. It flew over me, too. It was right over my house, and I was awake. So, it's so frustrating when you're so eager to see something and you just miss it so easily. But who knew? And it kind of brings me to the thing. So Marianne and Dave, so tell us what you're doing. And so as police officers, what made you decide to start talking about this and create a presentation? And can you discuss that for us?
Okay, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
this is going to actually probably sound a little weird to start off with, but being a police officer, you see a lot of things. You see a lot of things that are traumatic, funny, scary, all over the whole range of emotions. Some of the stuff you can explain, some of the stuff you can't explain. But the recurring theme with anybody, whether it's a county sheriff, a federal agent, a city police officer, whoever it is, when you see those things that you can't explain, the normal reaction for a police officer is you don't talk about it, you just bottle it up. And like this talk that we're doing is all, the first half of it is all about why is that? Why do officers bottle this stuff up? Why do we not talk about it? And I'm sure Chris could mention a lot about why we don't talk about that sort of stuff. But it all started originally by, I'm coming to the end of my career. I've seen some things that I can't explain. I've done one major investigation into something that at the end of it, I was like, I have nothing. I have no idea what it is. And for years, I've kept that kind of bottled up. I'd tell a couple people here and there. And I realized as I was telling people that I trusted about it, it was like kind of taking pressure off. Because when you have all of these things bottled up inside of you, it starts to kind of weigh on you. So the reason we got started in this was actually almost like to provide officers who may have seen something that they can't explain, they don't feel comfortable talking about it, a place where they can get it out. And we would then take the information down, record it somehow, catalog it, keep it documented. And that way these officers who are seeing something that they can't see are getting the opportunity to get it out, get it off their chest, get almost like a therapeutic type thing of getting it out to people that they trust. As Chris can tell you, cops don't talk to anybody but other cops about stuff that's a little weird. But it gives that opportunity where they can get it out, maybe start towards healing, feeling better, getting it, the stress level will be reduced. And more importantly, they're telling people that they trust, people that they know aren't going to run around the corner and start, making fun of them or, running crazy with the information. So that's kind of how we started, was just like, we want to catalog this information to help other officers with dealing with the stress of seeing something that they can't understand and don't have a way of expressing it without people looking at them weird.
And we've talked to a lot of people about our presentation and what our premise of the presentation, and they are so excited because really, like we talked about, law enforcement officers don't have any reason to embellish, lie, or anything like that. They're not getting to tell a story and think they're going to get their 5 minutes of fame. They don't want to tell the story. And like Dave says, they want to, they feel great when they get it out. It's like somebody that committed a crime and they've got it bottled up inside of them. We do an investigation. We talk to them and said, please, you'll feel so much better if you just get it out. And boom, they tell us. And you could see even a suspect, they just, they feel so good that they finally got it out. And I think, that's what police officers are going to give us. And the public, we've had such great positive feedback from people. They want to hear from police officers. What have you seen? Whether it's, like we talked about, whether it's paranormal, whether it's a UAP, or it's, maybe a USO, something underwater. So we're reaching out to officers everywhere. If you have something, please get in touch with us. And we would love to share your story, whether you want to remain anonymous or whether you don't mind, we share your name and maybe a photo, if that. And we would love to share the stories with everybody in the world.
Okay. How many cops I can tell you, I mean, during my time, my career, my partner and I, an alien could fall on the hood of our car. We would just throw him off to the curb, leave him in the gutter and drive away. And that'd be the last of it. I mean, we wouldn't certainly go. I remember somebody one time saying down in the locker room, hey, I saw something that was really weird in the sky. And the next day he had aliens taped to his locker, things hanging from there. There was a big aluminum hat sitting on the top of his locker so he could wear. I mean, it was just torturous, alien faces. So nobody's going to open their mouth and say, hey, Captain, I just saw an alien, because you'd be going to the police shrink in about 2 minutes. So, I mean,
That's what we talked about.
That's how it was at that time. But now things are changing. The way the government is coming out with things and the way certain things are happening, there is cops coming out and want to talk about their stories. There's correction officers who claim they've been abducted. There's NYPD officers who, have abduction stories and everything else. How many cops have you actually interviewed that are so willing? I mean, they want to talk to you and want their story out. I mean, I just don't see that, because there's a lot of cops who say, Chris, I'll talk to you. Like you said, Dave, there's a lot of cops that I'll talk to you, but I don't want nothing else. Don't put my story out. Don't report it. Don't do nothing.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because just the other day I had another officer come up and start telling me about stuff. We have, and it's like exactly what you said. Years ago when we all started, you would never even think of breathing a word about this.
No.
But nowadays, with such a focus on mental health and stressors of the job and things like that, we're actually getting a lot of officers coming up. I've got officers from MCSO. I've got officers from my agency. I've got officers from other agencies in Texas that are reporting stuff to us. We're actually kind of shocked at how many people really are out willing to talk to us about it. And the best part is the reason that they're coming to talk to us is because of the fact that they trust us, because we explained to them, if you don't want it brought out or advertised or talked about publicly, we won't talk about it. Yet I have yet to find a single officer that tells me, no, I'll tell you, but I don't want you talking to anybody. I usually get, this is what happened. And, I don't mind if you say it, but don't put my picture there. Like, you can put my name, but not my picture. Or you can tell my agency, but I don't want really my name associated with it. And so when we do stuff like that, when we're writing up these things or talking about it at our talk that we have coming up, we just usually say officers from this agency. And this is what they were counted. And we're the ones that interview them. So we're the ones that are going to take the flack. If somebody says, well, that's crazy, we can say, hey, look, this is what we found when we interviewed him. He does not get the blame. He doesn't have to get the stickers on the locker and the aluminum hat, left on the bench in front of his locker and stuff like that.
I'm guilty of the aluminum hat, by the way.
Yeah. But the reason is we're kind of surprised, because really I thought I might get like a handful of officers that would be willing to talk to me about stuff. And really, again, like I said, my goal was to try and help officers kind of navigate this career, because as you know, this career can get a little crazy. And I'm shocked at how many people have been coming up and talking to us. I mean, we've got 10 cases we're talking about at this next meeting, and I think we have at least 10 more cases that that have just fallen into our lap in the last.
I have
week.
Book time.
Oh, is it break time?
I said book time. Book time. Go ahead, Chris. I had a question too, real quick.
We're talking about that right now.
Marianne, I just want to ask you, what's your feelings of this?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Feelings on this? If you're talking police officers, yes. I was in California for a conference, and I was just talking about what I'm doing to different people that would come up. And I had a corrections officer come up to me and just share his story right out to me, what was going on. His was a paranormal in the jails. His dad has seen some things. He's willing to talk to us. And just like Dave, I just bring this up to just people that I know, and they want to tell me the story. Now, I think if they're still working, they, like you say, maybe use their first name, but don't use their last name, don't use pictures. But a lot of people that are retired, they're like, hey, let's go for it. I'll even be on camera and I'll even tell the story. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So when are you speaking there for Phoenix MUFON? What is the date of that event?
April 15th.
Yeah, April 15th at 12 noon. Going to be at the Arizona Historical Society there in Tempe, Arizona. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
$15 cash.
And I really like your new logos. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And of course, right there in Arizona too, you have the ex-Navajo Rangers, and I notice you have Ghost and Bigfoot on that logo as well. And after the break here, I kind of want to get into that, because I'm sure police officers not only have UFO strange encounters, but like you mentioned, ghosts in the jail and perhaps Sasquatch sightings and whatnot. So I really want to, but if you can tell us a little bit before break here about this logo, it's really nice. Who designed that?
Well, who designed it was a good friend of ours, Doug Smythe. We gave them the premise. We're going to investigate, again, like we said, UFOs or UAPs as they're called now, ghost, Bigfoot. It's going to be everything. That's why we are unidentified anomalous phenomenon, not aerial, as everybody calls it. The UAP is that we're not going to just hold it to people see things in the sky. We want, people to tell us stories about ghosts and things that happen on the land and maybe underwater. So we want everything. We are going to tell stories about all, I don't say walks of life, but everything. We're not just going to stay with one subject. We're going to do all three of them. And Dave will explain, which is cool, how the three all kind of interact or intertwine with each other.
Yeah, when we started looking at this, like obviously we were both field investigators for MUFON, which automatically defers to UAPs, aerial phenomenon, maybe submerged phenomenon as well. But like my case, like we talked at the beginning, I've never seen a UAP, but I had a very interesting ghost encounter. And so I started thinking about it when we were talking about, hey, we should do something with law enforcement and what they saw. And the first thing I was adamant about is we can't limit it to just aerial phenomena. Now, that's an important thing because there are tons of sightings, but there are a lot of sightings of spirits or ghosts, paranormal type stuff, but then also cryptids. You get a lot of like park rangers, officers that are out in the middle of the sticks, so to speak, that see things. And it's when we started talking about it, it was amazing how we started finding correlations between the two. And like David Paulides, for example, talking about people missing, and then noticed a correlation between UAP sightings and cryptid, like Bigfoot sightings. So it's like, well, there's a correlation. And then they have television shows, even like, Terror in the Woods and stuff like that, which is a correlation between like Bigfoot and like the spirit world. And if you talk to the Navajo Rangers, like you mentioned earlier, John and Stan, which we're good friends with, they'll mention that, the Bigfoot or the cryptid Bigfoot is a very spiritual creature. So you start talking about, well, there's that correlation. And then
it is now break time, but I want to hear, Dave Rich, your paranormal encounter when we get back, if that's okay. So stay tuned after the break. We're going to get into that with Dave and Marianne. See you after the break.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
MUFON is the voice of thousands of like-minded people who want to see change. We speak up against UFO secrecy. We engage governments and agencies around the world on the topic. We share information with the public through our journal, website, newsletter, social media, and even our own TV channel. When you join MUFON, you add your voice to the cause. Few things are more important in our time than understanding the UFO question. Join MUFON. Find your friends.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm going to take it for the energy. I'm going to take it for the play. I'm going to take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
All right, we're back. All right, I rebooted the computer during break. That was whew, man. Hopefully my connection's a little better. I got Starlink up here and I just don't know. I mean, it doesn't say a lot for Starlink, but I'm still having like issues. I think I need to get it up on the higher peak. Right now it's down a little low, kind of down in the valley. So hang in there with me. I'll get it situated
Down
one of these days. Down in the valley.
I was just thinking
up in the
valley's
mountains.
so low.
The Jolly Green
Okay.
Giants. Either we could say the Jolly Green Alien.
So, Dave, you had mentioned you haven't seen a UAP or a UFO, but you encountered something on the job. Can you share with us?
Well, I can give you a little bit of information, but if you want the full story, you need to show up at the talk that we're doing on the 15th and 10th.
Teaser.
Well, let me tell you this: you won't regret it. I'll tell you that.
I believe that.
Yes.
I can't jump on a plane and get there. Are they going to record it? Maybe I can buy your DVD.
They are.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: not just humans call 911, and we'll call it like that.
Oh.
Oh, that's silence.
My mind is racing. I'm like a dog, a cat.
No, a ghost. A ghost can call 911.
A ghost can call 911, and they can make phone calls. Apparently, that happened to
not
me
on
just
Friday.
today. A whole other story.
Didn't you ever hear of a ghost getting on a phone and it's your dead wife or something saying I still around you?
Are those just ghost stories or are those real?
No. People have picked up the phone. Dave, help me out here. People
I
have
agree.
picked up the phone and
100%.
have listened to dead people talk to them.
Yeah. Usually it's a relative that'll call you from beyond and they'll get a phone message or something like that. In this case, it wasn't. It was from a school. So
Wow. Well, that kind
They usually call collect.
they do. And then they reverse the charges. It's really
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Well, Dave, we should let everybody know you're a school resource officer. So you hang out with a lot of kids who, my age look like little aliens, but they're just really, I'm sure that keeps you young. Do they know what you are doing, and have they approached you with any stories themselves?
No, because kind of like how Marianne touched on and how Chris has touched on, I don't really bring it up a lot while I'm at work because of the fact that it is one of those things that's kind of difficult to approach people with. And especially when you're working in a high school setting and you've got different students and stuff like that, I usually kind of keep that stuff out of what I do. And usually I'm too busy working on all of the stuff that's going on that's mundane in nature with them that I usually don't get a chance to talk about anything like that. But I kind of reserve that talk for the other officers and stuff like that we're dealing with and trying to help get their stories out there.
I'll go. Anyways, I want to ask you about the connection with Bigfoot and UFOs. What is your theory on that, Dave and Marianne? Let's start with Dave. Dave, what's your theory of UFOs and Bigfoot? Because some people say they're not coordinated. Some people say that, it's an alien species. My theory is that it was an alien species brought here.
Well, there's my own personal theory is there have been documented cases of Bigfoot footprints going to the middle of a field and then just disappearing. So obviously, unless they're growing wings and flying away, something is picking them up and taking them away, or they are going through some sort of portal to another dimension or something like that. My personal belief, and again, this is just my personal belief, I don't have any proof or scientific evidence of this, but one day I'd like to, is I believe they might have something to do with interdimensional stuff. And I think a lot of our sightings with both UFOs and Bigfoot could be attributed. What I like to give the example of is think of like a highway with like overpasses. And
do you think we have other dimensions?
I think there are. I think there could be. Mm-hmm. And I think that what we do is when we see sightings, it's like an overpass. If you're on a highway and you're driving on the road and you're just driving around looking and seeing the desert because we're in Arizona. But then when you cross an overpass, cross another highway, you can look down and see cars on that other highway. And to me personally, I believe maybe that might have something to do with it. And when we see sightings of either a UAP or Bigfoot or something like that, I wonder if we're looking through that. Maybe there's like a thinning of the barrier and we're looking through into that. But then again, I don't know.
Well, the Skinwalker Ranch and other places have had portals open up right in front of them. I mean, very reputable people said, holy crap, the fabric of space and time just opened up right in front of me.
And that's why I'm thinking maybe it's something like that. So I think there is some sort of relationship with all three of these things, these groups that we deal with. And I think they're all somehow related. I don't have hard, concrete proof as to what they are, but that's kind of like what our belief is that they're all related somehow. We just haven't figured out how yet.
Marianne, you take that question.
I believe totally there's a portal, because if you're out in the forest, you might find a carcass of a deer, an elk, a bear, whatever. I don't think anyone has ever found a carcass of a Bigfoot. So I'm thinking, just like Dave said, you can see footprints maybe out in the field, and all of a sudden the footprints are gone. Somewhere, sometime in the last, 100, 200 years or whatever, we should have at least found some type of carcass of a Bigfoot if they were in our universe, on the earth. So
you would think somebody would have shot one by now.
Well, they were shot one. Something would have happened that we would have some kind of evidence that we can hand. Here you go. Yeah, we can take plaster cast of the feet. Some people, there's like little hair. They might collect some hair in a fence or somewhere. That's great. But it would be good. It would be so cool to have an actual carcass. And I don't think we'll ever find one because they go from here. They check things out on the earth. They look to see what we're doing. And they go, okay, we're headed home now. And they go through the portal. And I think they go back to wherever they're coming from. So
yeah, that's interesting. People have shot at them. There've been reports of people shooting at the Sasquatch, and they will often just disappear in a flash of light or just vanish in front of them. But I think Marianne and Dave, you guys have David Pilates' new film, Missing 411, the UFO Connection, and he talks about aquifers underground and caverns. Do you guys have those in Arizona? Are you aware? And do you think that ties into the phenomena as well?
Aquifers.
Yeah. Well,
I couldn't tell you that. I couldn't tell you that if it's.
Well, there are aquifers here in Arizona, but what the correlation is, we couldn't tell you. I mean, there's a lot of people that speculate that the water running under the ground with the minerals in the dirt will create like an electrical charge and cause all sorts of phenomena to happen, which is one of the principles I believe that they mentioned in Skinwalker Ranch. And I mean, there's science behind that. Hydroelectric power plants, the moving water through stuff. Is that happening here? I don't know. It definitely is interesting though.
Yeah.
Right.
Be nice to know.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we found one of these aquifers, we can get down under there somehow, and there's all the Sasquatch bodies, like a whole cemetery. That's where they've been going this whole time.
Little flowers.
Anyway, I want to ask you guys, Marianne and Dave, you guys do an amazing presentation on interviewing techniques. Can you guys both discuss a little bit of that for our viewers, just some basics on, how to tell if somebody's fibbing you? Let's say.
Well, what we do is, as being police officers, we've both had 59 years of experience together. And we have done not only patrol, but we have been in a lot of specialties in the police department. So we've done thousands and thousands and thousands of interviews and interrogations. So we try to teach field investigators, whether they are new field investigators that are just coming on, or even the old timers. Everybody learns something new. We're just trying to teach them techniques on how to do an interview where we can see whether or not they are being deceptive or not. We try to explain to them, do not ask leading questions, ask open-ended questions. Then another way, just like what Katie was saying, how to tell whether or not they're lying while you're talking to them, is we have preparatory phrases. And we kind of give some examples, as in, you ask them a question, it's, on my mother's grave, this, or let me be honest with you.
Truthfully.
The one I love is when somebody asks a question or answers a question with a question. Or let's be honest, or I'm being honest with you, or to be honest, and so please lie to me. So teach people how, and that's mostly what we do telephonic interviews, is trying to listen to the preparatory phrases. When you do an in-person interview, you can watch the body language. And that's what we talk about giving a rapport, good rapport with your witness before you start actually doing the interview. Because you can see how their body language is at the beginning when you're just talking, just family, just talking normal stuff. Then see how their body language might change during the interview. Are they trying to hide something? So
will they typically like pull in or like cover? And if they're not being honest, let's say they're all laid back going, yeah, these are my kids, and they're all chill, and then all of a sudden they do this. Is that what you're looking for? Things like that?
Yeah, in part. And that's why, like Marianne said, rapport building, in my opinion, and I've worked on a variety of units where I interviewed a lot of people. I actually went through training to become a forensic interviewer, which is a fancy way of saying interviewing people without asking direct questions. And one of the big things that I took from that is building that rapport. Because like you're saying, Katie, is you're looking for that, but you also have to determine, is that their natural state? Because any one of these things, whether it's a preparatory phrase, are they looking up and to the left? Are they slurring their words? Are they thinking too long when they answer? All of those could be signs of deception, but they could also just be signs of that's how the person talks. So the important thing is, and the thing that we try to get through to these investigators is, the first step in whatever investigation you're going to do, try to build a baseline. And the way that you do that is you build a report. You may talk about, if it's the Super Bowl just happened, you may talk about the Super Bowl. You may talk about what movies they like, what foods they like, what do they do at their job, things like that. And the reason you're doing that, asking these questions that have nothing to do with your investigation, is because you're actually recording in your mind, how do they answer questions? Do they use preparatory phrases when they have absolutely nothing to be lying about? Do they, slur their words normally? Do they look, not make eye contact? Because some cultures making eye contact is very disrespectful. Others, not making eye contact is very disrespectful. So whenever you do these interviews, you have to make sure that you kind of get that baseline first, and then you start looking for those changes. That's when you start to determine, okay, well, he was honest with this. He answered the same way when we were talking about pizza in the football game. He answered the same way. Now when we're talking about what he saw in the sky, all of a sudden something changed. Now, it could just be the emotions of recounting something that's more stressful, but you can still use that. Okay, this is his baseline. When you start talking, start looking at why he's answering certain questions a certain way, ask other questions that are similar, and start to make that determination of, is he truly being deceptive, or is that just his natural method of talking? And I know that's real quick. This is like an hour-long class that we're trying to sum up in like a few seconds.
Well, it's amazing what you guys can teach people, and I'm not sure if everybody realizes, but at least for the last couple of years, you have taught field investigating techniques at the MUFON boot camp that's held in Mason. I believe it'll be in November this year. And we go out. Here you guys are out at the field investigation.
Great picture.
Really horrible.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's so awesome.
Here we have.
That's an even worse picture.
That's a good one.
That's
I don't
he
There's
gets along with
Stacy.
the
Hey,
kids.
Stacy.
Hey, Stacy. That's the Arizona director. And there's
Yeah,
Katie and I were there.
Oh, there's us. Yay.
So fun. And then Marianne and I, and there's Mark D'Antonio, and we are part of SkyTour live stream as well. And last but not least, we have the.
Oh, that's a great picture.
Yeah, this is all fun. Marianne and Stacy and myself. That was just real
Three
fun.
amigos.
We have a good time, don't we, Marianne? It's all fun.
Oh, we do.
So.
It is fun.
It's a lot of fun. Well, Katie knows she's there with us. It's a long weekend, but it is a lot of fun. And any of the viewers, we have usually about 40 people is what the cutoff is to come out to the boot camp. But if you're interested, it's a lot of fun. We do training in classroom training half the day. Then the other half is out at Needle Vista, where we actually do evidence collection. We are out. There you go.
What's up?
We are out there. Actually, as they say, boots on the ground. We go out there and we try to find the evidence. There, a scene of a possible a crash or a landing of a spaceship. And of course, it's a mock scenario. And you go out and you collect evidence and write a report, which is kind of cool.
Really
Plus,
fun.
the best chili dogs you will ever have in your entire world.
You know why she knows
That's
that?
so true.
Because
There you go, right there.
Yeah, there they are, right there. And as far as evidence collecting too,
Tara. Okay, Tara. Thank you.
All right, I'm not doing that anymore. There's way too many pictures.
As far as evidence collecting goes too, you learn that from none other than John and Stan, and it's they teach very, very good techniques for evidence collecting.
And they are joining us in our talk on the 15th. They will be there with us as well, talking about cases as well, and the stigma behind law enforcement and the unknown.
You're talking about Stan and John, the Navajo Rangers. And,
Yes.
Right. John Dover, Stan Milford Jr.
Yep. It's great.
So, I feel like I'm at old home day, and stuff. I want to ask a question about a theory that a friend of mine came up with, and it's a pretty damn good theory in regards to UFOs. He doesn't believe they're extraterrestrial. He believes that they're time travelers. There's been a lot of talk that we have conquered time traveling. Now, you could hear this talk going around from scientists and stuff. Yes, it can be done. Yes, we've been working on it. Yes, there's been rumors out there that we have conquered it. Do you think there's a two-part question. Do you think, one, that we could be being visited by time travelers thinking that they're extraterrestrials? And two, are they coming back and perhaps abducting people in order to get something?
Okay, the first part of your question, I can answer that with what I believe, along with, I think Marianne kind of follows the same belief on this. But to do it, it's a little long because I don't know if you've noticed. But
go for it. We got a whole hour.
Okay. So let me give you an example. If I was to take a cell phone, like an iPhone 13, whatever, and I go back, to 1950, and I hold up that cell phone and I show it to somebody, they're going to be like, "What the heck is this? This is crazy. It's magic. It's unknown. And what the heck?" And then I say, okay, I grabbed some piece of technology from 1950, a typewriter, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter what it is. But it's a piece of technology that we, in our time, would look at and go, man, that thing is so primitive. That thing, it makes no sense. I can't believe we used that. But I jump in the time machine and I go back 100 years and I show that to somebody from 1850. They're going to look at me and go, burn the witch. That's magic. Mm-hmm. And then I take something from 1850, some sort of piece of technology that we look at and go, wow, that's ridiculously primitive. And I go back to 1750 and I show that piece of technology. And they're going to be like, burn the witch. And basically, the point I'm getting at is, could it be time travel? Possibly. This might be just technology that 200 years from now, we have completely got down like we're driving cars right now.
Yeah, but Dave, look how fast our technology has been going. Yeah. I mean, we're I remember when the first cell phone came out, I had to carry it in a bag.
Yes.
Okay. Now the thing is small, and I mean, and you're not talking generations. You're talking in a very short time.
But the point I'm trying to make is that technology moves at a very fast rate compared to us. And so could UFOs just be something from 50, 100 years in the future coming back and we're like, holy cow, that blows our mind. We don't know what that is yet.
Right.
But in 100 years, we're going to look at it and go, yeah, everybody has one of those in the garage.
Right. Just like the Jetsons. You know, what we thought was science fiction years ago has become science fact.
Right.
Remember the Dick Tracy watches that you could talk in? Well, you can do that now.
Yeah.
Don Adams.
Yeah.
And so I agree with the theory. It
Yeah.
could very well be that's what it could be. It could just be people from the future where time travel is just, no big deal. And they're coming back and we're looking at it going, holy cow, this is like earth shattering. Like we've never seen this before. And meanwhile, they're just buzzing around going, yeah, it's like Thursday. I just, borrowed the car from my dad and I'm trucking back to 2023. See what these people are doing.
And
Marianne, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting because we just talked about a gentleman I was talking to said, there is a future because of fiber optics. We had no clue 20 years ago or whatever fiber optics came, and all of a sudden, poof, we have fiber optics. Somebody's feeding us that information. And I think it is from the future, whether it is from another world or, that's the future.
Well, they said that about, Tesla, and they now say it about Elon Musk, that, all his ideas are not all his own. Tesla actually said that his ideas were not his own.
Crazy. Hey, quick question to answer your second part of your question. I do believe, let's take a hunter or a science person. They want to track a herd of elk, and they want to just see how the herd lives and acts and everything. So what do? They tag it. They go, they shoot, they tranquilize an elk or a deer. They take it, they do an examination of that animal, maybe take a specimen of their blood, maybe their urine or something like that to see how they are, how they're functioning. And then they tag them and they put them back out in the wild. Well, I think that's what somebody from another world, like they said that somebody's abducted. Well, that's the same kind of thing is they come down. We are the animals. We are the elk. They come, they take us, they check up blood, they do an examination. They might give us an implant and bring us back on Earth and say, see you in 5 years or whatever. We're going to keep.
Yeah, we do it to animals now. So why wouldn't they do it to us?
That's exactly it. Exactly.
Yeah. Marianne and Dave, I have a question for you. So, as police officers, how frustrating it must have been, to not be able to discuss things that actually happened to you on the job, such as this. And because of the mental health aspects of it. And I'm wondering that now that you guys have started to talk about this and you're talking more openly, and how has that changed you, if at all? And is it better now, or your understanding of it, or is there a sense of better? Or I guess the reason I'm asking is because I think a lot of people could learn maybe from what the benefits are of talking about things that are uncomfortable. And I'm just curious.
No, I haven't had anything on the job.
Well, Tara, I think there is a benefit to talking about it. Personally, when I wasn't talking about the incident that we're going to talk about on Saturday, it kind of was like, it leaves you questioning, and it has a lot to do with who we are as police officers. One of the big things is we're type A personalities. We're those guys that have to know what is going on. And you're talking about a person who literally is going to show up at somebody else's house when they commit a crime, walk into their living room and tell them what to do. So that's the type of personality that a police officer is, somebody who's always going to be in control. And if they're not in control, they're going to pretend that they're in control, and they're going to take care of business. When we get confronted with things that we can't understand, it gets very frustrating for not just us, but any type of person out there who's a type A personality. You like to have that control over it. So when you have to relinquish control of something because you don't know what it is, it gets very challenging because, like I said, the one case that I was working at that I'm going to talk about, up until I followed every possible lead. I ruled out this, I ruled out this, I ruled out this, ruled out this, and I was left with something that I could not explain. And that weighed on me weird. Like, I never thought it would have bothered me that much to just be like, oh, well, I can't explain that. But it really bothered me to go for a while of like, yeah, I don't know what that is. I can't, everything else that I've dealt with at that point, it was like 18 years of my job. It's like everything else I've been able to like sum up with, okay, this is what it is. I may not like it. It may be like a crime of some sort, but I was always able to get to the bottom of something. This is what the cause was. This was one of the first times in my career where I was left standing there literally going, I have no explanation for this. And as officers, we don't like that because our job is to come into these high stressful situations and take charge and take care of business and clear it and make sure that it's all good. And when you can't come up with an answer, it really weighs on you. So now that I've gotten to the point where I'm retiring, the opportunity to help officers negotiate that feeling that I was feeling years ago dealing with that, to me, I think it's very beneficial for us to get out there, allow these officers to do it, because there's some guys that their experience, my experience happened when I was on like 17, 18 years. I was kind of towards the end of my career. We got some guys that are having experiences when they've been on like 4 years. And now we're sitting here thinking, oh, you got to go like 16 to 20 more years carrying that burden where you're not getting it out. It's like, that's not healthy. That's not good.
The government.
What?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Marianne.
No, I was just going to say the government, I know, came out saying that to pilots, whether Air Force pilots or the military, hey, if you come up with a story, you have a story you want to share, go ahead and do it. There won't be any ridicule. There won't be any, you're going to lose your job. You're in a safe zone, as you call it. Well, you're not really in a safe zone because you're going to have, maybe the military won't fire you or demote you, but the guys that you're working with are still like a pilot. Do you really want to be that wingman that he might see? They're going to think, oh, he'll see this alien or whatever and fly off somewhere else. It's still going to be in the back of their mind that I am going to get ridiculed, maybe not by the government, but my own guys that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the bad thing.
Right. I have two questions for you. Number one, how often does a typical, and I know it's hard to maybe estimate, but for you guys personally, how often would you get calls from folks that are having unusual, whether it's paranormal, UFO, whatever kind of calls, police calls, where you're going out and it's not a domestic case or it's just something very strange? How often does that happen? And number two, if that does happen to somebody, what advice do you give them? How do you deal with something like that?
Well, I could tell you of two, but one really good case that I worked when I was still on patrol. Now, let me just kind of go back. Dave here, he had his experience. He didn't want to share anything. And there's reasons why he didn't share what he worked at the main station. And it's a whole different breed at the main station where we work compared to the substation where I worked. Everybody on my team knew that I was with MUFON. They knew I was a field investigator. They knew I was into this. So basically, anytime we got a case of whether somebody sees an alien or something going on, they would call me. I was also crisis intervention trained, so I would do a lot of the mentally ill calls that we'd get. And I'd like to share a story real quick with you. Is a partner and I went to this house. A woman called us and said, my sister has totally lost it. Said that she gave us the backstory of her sister has met a new boyfriend, and his name was Lucifer, and he was an alien.
Oh my!
And the reason why his name is Lucifer is he wanted to get the name out that it's not always a bad thing. He was a good alien, I guess. So She was dating him, and supposedly she actually was pregnant with his baby. And they, the gal and her 2 kids that she has now, real children, young kids, they went out to an area in northern Arizona, which I know the area. It is very, 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 very dark. It's called Bushnell Tanks. She went out there about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and she stayed in this area all night long because Lucifer was supposed to be coming down with his spaceship and picking her up with her and her 2 kids and go up to his planet for the rest of their life and live happily ever after. My thought, well, of course it didn't happen. She comes home and she tells her sister, this is what happened. So of course, that's why the sister called us. My biggest fear was what happened if Lucifer said to this gal, look, I don't want your 2 small children. I want to start our own family. You need to leave them behind. What was going to happen with those 2 children? So my partner had no clue what to do. He was totally baffled. Well, talking about aliens and any kind of entities being MUFON, I knew what to talk to her about. I knew keywords to talk to her and calm her down. So I sat on the couch with her. I explained I was MUFON. She would talk about Stephen Greer, and she would give other names of people in the UFO community. And I knew these people, and I would talk to her. Well, after about 10 minutes, she held my hand. We sat and talked. She calmly got up, went and walked out to my patrol car, and I did take her over to Community Bridges, which is a mental health facility, and did an involuntary committal. I feel if I was not MUFON, I did not know the keywords to talk to her about, we would have had a fight on our hands trying to get her into a patrol car and get her some help. So really police work, or I should say MUFON, has really helped me in police work quite a few times. So my guys were, very happy that I was with MUFON and shared stories with me and, news stuff that was going on in the news. I never had an issue with that.
For me, it was a little different. I caught a lot of the stickers on the locker room and stuff like that. But
no slack.
One of the
Did you get an aluminum hat?
No, I didn't. One of the things that was actually that I've noticed, like with the question of how often do we get calls about that topic, the majority of the cases that I've been told about by other officers and even myself, the call wasn't about something unusual. The call was just like a DV case where there was a family fight, and as they were there investigating it, they came across something. Or like my case was a 911 call, like you're responding to a 911 call. So I think a lot of times what the officers are coming across are what looks like a regular mundane call. And when you get there, as you start digging through the process, looking through like your regular investigative procedure, you come across this and you're like, hey, wait a second, this isn't what I thought it was. I need to look into this a little further and try and figure out what it is. Wow. So personally, I've only had one call that I can think of that there was a individual who thought that she had ghosts in the house because she heard like this scurrying and in the walls and in the ceiling, and she was convinced that there was some sort of spirit or entity in the house that was causing all sorts of mayhem. I was a patrol officer. I wasn't affiliated with MUFON or anything like that at the time. I go in the house, and as she's talking to me, I hear it too. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I decided to just poke my head up in the attic. And so I poked my head up in the attic and saw the squirrels running around. So it wasn't even really, it ended up being squirrels in the attic. But it's things like that where I think a lot of times officers go into these situations thinking, oh, this is just, a regular routine call. And in the process of doing that regular routine call, they stumble across something that is not exactly what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
really interesting.
It is.
Let's go down the rabbit hole again. I like that. You talk about ghosts, Dave.
Yep.
And one of the theories that I was told, I'm not sure I believe it, but aliens can prevent induce screen memories. We have a lot of people who have been abducted and they've had screen memories of seeing maybe an owl, a deer, and something. And a well-known field investigator, as a matter of fact, he's higher than that, and he has ideas that ghosts are screen memories or screens of aliens. What do you think of that?
Well, I've never heard that before, so this is new to me. I don't know. My personal take on ghosts are because you have residual hauntings that they have documented numerous times. Things like Gettysburg, where they have like lines of soldiers that are marching, and they have on video, and they can't explain it, and they're like transparent creature. Or
yeah, absolutely.
So my own personal belief is I believe there's two different things. I think there's like residual hauntings, which are like just basically replays of stuff that happened in the past. But then I think there's also like intelligent entities that could be either demonic, they could be from other dimensions, because there's just not a lot to be that we know about it yet. I mean, everybody automatically assumes, well, a ghost is just the spirit of a dead person. Well, maybe, but maybe there's a whole other like realm that we don't know yet, where it could be entities from other dimensions or other levels, whatever term you want to use. And maybe that is true. Maybe.
Well, we know aliens use screen memories.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in a lot of abduction cases or encounter cases, children, teenagers, adults, older adults have all said that sometimes when they encountered aliens or they believed that they were aliens, they saw, the bunny rabbit, or they saw a 6-foot owl, or, they saw a pirate, and the spaceship was a pirate ship. And his contention is that maybe that some ghosts, not all ghosts, because I do believe that there are spirits I think we transform, but some spirits, especially a relative or something, if an alien wanted to meet with you or talk to you or encounter you, wouldn't the alien take something that would be less frightening as opposed to,
and that's entirely possible. You're taking on the form of somebody that's familiar, or something that's familiar and comfortable, because you're trying to create that, in a weird way. It's kind of almost like building a rapport when we talk about interviewing people. If you think about it,
that's what they think.
If I come across as somebody and you'll be more comfortable talking to me. So,
Marianne, what do you think?
Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna.
No.
She's taking a pass.
Story of my life.
They'll let you off easy. I'm not going to let you off easy.
I don't know. I've talked to one person that when he was a young child, he was taken, and he was being groomed to become a pilot. And he would, go up somewhere in another universe or somewhere with, they believed, aliens. And he was being groomed to actually be a pilot now, to be a pilot of a UFO craft. I don't know. I'm assuming that people could probably, like you guys said, seeing, it'd be kind of weird having a dead relative come. That would kind of scare me, but maybe
freaky.
Yeah. I don't know, something that they'd be comfortable. I guess that could happen. I really don't know, except for, the friend that had where he was taken from his bed to go try to be a pilot, and they were grooming him. That was about all that I've ever heard of encountering, whether young kids or anytime.
Well, Jim Mann has been on this show and has said that, he felt he was being groomed for something also. And he had never seen an alien. He always heard a voice behind him. He always had instructions, that were behind him and never in front of him.
Wow.
So
interesting.
That, to your point, you could be right.
Yeah. Dave brings up an interesting topic that I've been really interested in the last maybe year and a half or something. And he mentioned that oftentimes you're called in to investigate just a certain case that isn't paranormal or UFO in nature. And then in the process of investigating, you notice things that don't add up. And, I'm wondering if there's some sort of energetic. I mean, when it comes to dealing in your world as police officers, I often think a lot of these crimes and lifestyles are at a lower vibration, and there's trauma involved in a lot of the people that perhaps you're working with. And there's been a lot of studies, PhD studies, that suggest that people that experience trauma and are in these lower kind of energy fields do experience more paranormal, cryptids, UFO experiences. And I'm wondering if that is connected. What do you guys make of that theory?
Go right ahead.
You go first. You go first this time.
I can't answer that. I really don't know. That's a little bit above my pay grade on that. When it comes to the frequencies and all that, I'm not really familiar when it comes to that, the frequencies of a human being. So what do you think, Dave?
Well, I don't know about frequencies and stuff like that, but I've talked to a lot of people in my career, both on the job and off of the job. And I've had an interesting class that I took in college about Wiccan and magic and stuff like that. And I remember talking to somebody, I wish I could remember what their name was now, but they were telling me that their belief, and I've always thought, that's kind of interesting. Again, have no proof of this, but she was telling me that usually people who have some sort of trauma in their childhood usually tend to be more open to the idea of things not being mundane. And what I mean by that is that if you grow up and you're like, say, for example, a victim of child abuse or neglect or something like that, you're in a situation that's really kind of not conducive, not good, not healthy for you. And I think they look for some sort of outlet, some sort of thing that's different than what they have, because what they're dealing with is not good. And it opens them up to different things. Like if you go looking for something, you might find it. Again, I have no proof of this, but it's interesting because I remember when she told me that years and years and years ago, I was always like, well, that's kind of an interesting take. Like I'm not into that sort of stuff. It was, one of those things I just kind of, when I was working in this class, I kind of came across this person who filled me in with that. And then years and years later, I encountered somebody who was a very devout Christian, believed in God and everything like that. And they said something very similar, but from the perspective of like demonic possession and demons and negative spirits, the same type of thing where if you're in a bad home life, a bad like either drugs or bad, just a bad home life and stuff like that, that you go looking for something else to make it better. And in the process, you may find something that you don't want to find.
Right.
Dave, do you believe in psychics?
I've never really.
And any of the police departments near you used a psychic?
Yeah, in fact, we've had psychics that have come in on cases when I was in detectives. It wasn't my case, but it was a different case that somebody else worked. And we had a psychic come in to tell us where they thought a body of a missing juvenile was. And they were wrong, but that does not mean that being psychic is not real. I think that I'm not psychic, but I'm smart enough to know that there's a lot of things in this world that I don't know. And
Marianne, do you believe in psychics?
Oh, very much so. The police department, if we're going to use them, I believe in them. Some things that they've told me personally, not police work, they were spot on. So, yeah, I mean, I believe them. And, they are definitely, whether they get the right, like his psychic about the missing child, is that he didn't get it right. But, hey, police departments are using psychics to assist them. So they are definitely legit.
Hey, Marianne and Dave, what people may not also realize that you do the field investigator training and you do the advanced interview techniques, but you also talk about evidence collection. And it's something that you touch on. And I just want you to talk about that perhaps, and what type of evidence can we get from sightings, and, any type of sightings. But I think that's a big important aspect of it, is finding some actual credible, evidence that something happened. And what can you talk about that?
Well, the evidence collection that we do is, we started doing that at the symposium, the MUFON Symposium, because John Dover and Stan Milford Jr. does the evidence collection at the boot camp. But basically, evidence collection, we use the same procedures as we would as a police officer. You get to whatever scene it might be, you just stand there and you just look over the scene. And you don't do anything else. You just look over everything. Then, taking photos, you'll get into the scene, and what you'll do is keep your hands in your pocket because you don't want to touch anything. And you'll just maybe walk around some of the things that are at a scene. Now, if it's a possible UFO crash or some kind of craft that they see, well, first thing you're going to do is an EMF meter, or one of the meters that you're going to make sure that there are no radiation or anything.
Right.
You're not going to get exposed around it. You then basically point out and document what evidence that you might see in the area. Photograph it. Did I say photograph? Photograph it. And then at that time, as you're collecting each piece of evidence, you're also documenting where you found each piece of evidence. Go.
Okay, so I'm going to be the downer.
Frozen. Can anybody hear me?
So I like to, I like to kind of keep things in a different level here. The reality is the majority of the evidence that investigators from MUFON are going to find are going to be video and audio, like photos, maybe audio recording, a video recording, something like that. We teach them how to turn them in, how to collect those for analysis through one of the many very qualified video and photo and analysts that MUFON has access to. But we teach them how to collect all the evidence as if they're going out to a scene. But this is the moment when reality steps in. If a UFO or some sort of aircraft crashes somewhere,
we're not going to get near it.
Anywhere near it. Is the government actually, we might get there as police officers initially, and we're going to keep everybody back. Because the reality is if something falls out of the sky and crashes, you're most likely not going to get there and collect anything. There's going to be lots of guys with large guns that say U.S. Army on it, and they're going to be there collecting stuff.
But unless it's in your backyard and I'm going to get there first. I'm going to try my darndest.
But that's why we always have to teach them like that procedure, because one of the big things that we want to push is the safety aspect of this too. If you have something that crashed from the sky, whether it's like something from another planet or even something from Earth, there's a lot of threats and hazards to your health right there. You've got even just an airplane crash, you've got jet fuel, you've got all sorts of technology and equipment and stuff like that that can cause some serious injuries. So don't go rushing right in and try to collect stuff. There might be a moment where you need to stop and go, well, this is really cool, but I want to be able to go home at the end of the day without growing an extra head or 3 arms or something like that. So maybe I need to hit the brakes here and take a look and see what is the safest thing to do.
Right.
And if that's the case,
good point. Great advice.
Stay back, take pictures, call 911.
Yeah, Dave, I've been to 2 airplane crashes, and believe me, you're not going to get within 50 yards of the scene. So, that jet fuel burns pretty hot, and and it sticks to your boots and everything else. I've seen that. So,
I mean, it's fun to teach. People get really excited about it, but that's one of the things that we do bring up during the classes. Reality, you're probably never going to do this.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that that's the process for gathering evidence.
And it's fun.
I will say that if you do have an encounter that lands and then takes off again, there's a lot of physical forensic evidence that's on the ground, which your teaching is good to know because, like you say, safety, radiation, how to take samples and stuff. That's where a lot of MUFON training comes into effect is your landings and the way they go and you're there.
Yeah, we teach them, have a to-go bag, have a briefcase that has gloves and has an EMF meter, Geiger counters, everything that you need to use for collecting evidence, and also, of course, a camera. So that's kind of one we teach is what equipment to have just in case you do get to go to a scene where you had something that, like you say, landed and took off again, something like that.
Have either of you had to go on scene to collect any evidence in Arizona?
Yes, Marianne, you and I did.
Oh my gosh, yes, I did. Oh my, yeah, I'm thinking, wait a minute, did we? Thanks, Sarah. I'm glad I should be looking at you. Yes, as a matter of fact, it was about a year ago. We had a report of somebody seeing a white ball on top of the Superstition Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Up,
Got a
near
picture of it. Mm-hmm.
And we literally climbed Superstition Mountain and went up to the area where the witness said that she saw this. And we measured, we used the EMF meters, we took pictures, we did everything we could.
Soil samples.
Mm-hmm. And it was pretty neat. Took a lot of video, and that I guess was the only one that I've ever done where we actually went to the scene. Well, collect evidence.
We collect pictures.
We collect pictures, not
hard evidence. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say maybe 10% of cases that come in are actually go to a scene, investigate it, and actually do an interview with the witness. I would say at least 90 to 95% of all our cases is over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me, though, last year at the boot camp, is that near the Superstition Mountains where we go do the field work? Because remember, we spotted that light at the top and everybody was like oohing and on. And then we had the helicopter and they were searching for some missing people. And in fact, maybe you can talk a minute about this. We're getting near the end of the show, but in that area, people go missing out there. Do you think that is high strangeness, or do you think that's other circumstances why these people are going missing out there?
Well, I think the majority of the people that go missing is if you've never been to Arizona and you've never experienced the heat that the levels are out here. The Superstition Mountains, when you look at them from Phoenix, they look really close and they look really neat, like you could climb up them. But when you get back in them, that's some tough terrain. Yeah. I would say the very high majority of people that go missing are some sort of like accident, a slip and fall, some sort of medical condition while they're out hiking. I think that's pretty much the majority of what it is. They have a reputation of a lot of, they're called the Superstition Mountains for a reason. There's a lot of high strangeness that people believe is going on out there. But as with most high strangeness, if something happens, you probably don't have proof of it. That's why it's strange. But I think the majority of the people that go missing are either people that got lost, got dehydrated, because a lot of things, like I said, unless you've been in Arizona, you don't understand how quickly you can go from being, I feel fine, to being completely lightheaded and pass out. And it just happens so fast and you don't realize it. And I think that's the majority of what that is.
Yeah, and if you can't find the person, usually if they have a heart attack, you might find either their body or bones or something, some type of remains. But in Arizona, there are a lot of mine claims in the Superstition Mountains, out in the desert, where people will open up an area to go do check the underground for a mine, and they won't either fill it back in or they will not cover it any which way. It's just an open hole. So as you're walking, you've got a lot of sagebrush around you. You don't see the hole. Next thing you know, you're down 100 feet. You're dead. Nobody's ever going to find you. And I know they have it out in the desert. There's been many times I've driven up and there's a hole right there. Nothing's fenced. So that's another reason people go missing.
That's terrifying. Plus, you have all those little critters, the scorpions and those nasty rattlesnakes and all that stuff. But you're right. The heat out there in the desert is just unbearable, and people dehydrate in that. So good answer. That's, gosh, time flew by. I apologize again for my technical difficulties. But here, we only got a few minutes left. Can you remind folks again about your event coming up next weekend and the title of your presentation and what you have coming up for, the spring and summer this year?
Well, our presentation is called UAPPD, and it's going to be UAPPD is unidentified anomalous phenomenon PD, and that's because people don't just see things up in the sky, they see things on land and underwater. We're going to be at the MUFON meeting in Arizona, Phoenix, at the Historical Society in Tempe, Arizona, $15 cash, and we'll be doing it from noon to 3 p.m. And what we ask is if any law enforcement officer that might be listening that has any stories that they'd like to share with us so we can use that in our next presentation, please contact us. We have a website put together called uappd.com. But get a hold of Phoenix MUFON. We're still part of it. Please give us a call. We would love to hear your stories. And of course, we have the boot camp coming up in November, and we'd love to have people come out for that. And we'll be all doing the training for that, interview, evidence collection, how to write a report, a photo and video analysis, astronomy, all kinds of really cool stuff, and great chili dogs, let me tell you.
That's right.
And don't forget that symposium too. You'll be out there, Marianne. Dave, how come are you going to be at the symposium this year?
No, I'm actually going to be on a family thing, so I can't make it to the symposium this year.
Oh, well, you'll be missed. And Chris and KGRA really appreciate you guys coming on. After you have filled the beans a little bit in your presentation, you could share some of these great stories with us that you were giving us teasers on tonight. So
yes.
We would love to have you back in the future when you're able to share those stories with us. I want to thank Bill Skywatcher and Amanda. We missed you. We hope to see you back next week. And I want to say a thank you to Tara Diulis, Chris DePerno, Bill Skywatcher, Amanda, and of course, Jerry and Jenna. I see that Jerry still has his little cast on. When is that coming off, Chris?
I can't get it off.
That's
emergency room.
I'm just going to cut his arm off. He doesn't need it.
He's got another one.
He'll
Please don't.
He'll have one arm.
Please don't cut his arm off. Anyway, that's it for us here. Cool. I want to thank all our listeners out there on Rumble. Thank you guys for tuning in every Tuesday night. It's so awesome for you all to be here. And again, thank you, Marianne and David. It's a pleasure having you on. And we will see you next Tuesday night, guys. Keep looking up.